How's it going, IO? In this video, we're going to get into the huge Alec Baldwin news, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's defamation lawsuit, and the fact that Twitter has screwed up in the worst way possible. First up, Alec Baldwin's legal battle is getting unbelievably messy. His lawyers filed a motion on Tuesday seeking to disqualify the special prosecutor who was a part of the team that brought the involuntary manslaughter charges against him. The motion argues that Andrea Reeves' role as a special prosecutor violates the New Mexico Constitution because she is also an elected member of the state's House of Representatives. Alec's attorney Luke Nyker said that she is not constitutionally permitted to serve both as a legislator and as a special prosecutor, and doing so gives her the powers of different branches, legislating and prosecuting, which is not allowed according to the New Mexico Constitution. Andrea Reeves was a district attorney for the 9th Judicial District in New Mexico before she resigned in March of 2022. She was then named special prosecutor for the Rust investigation in August, just 2 months after securing the Republican nomination for the state house. She was then elected to the legislature in November. Alec's lawyer argued that her double role could lead to unethical behavior, like future prosecutors seeking to curry favor with legislators by offering them positions on high-profile cases. He also brought up the fact that there was not any kind of law that would prevent a similar situation in Mexico, because no one has attempted such an unconstitutional action in the state. In response, the prosecutors released a statement saying that Alec Baldwin and his lawyers could use whatever tactics they want to distract from the fact that Helena Hutchins died because of gross negligence and a reckless disregard for safety on the Rust film set. They went on to say, however, the district attorney and the special prosecutor will remain focused on the evidence and on trying this case so that justice is served. Apart from the potential issue with Andrea Reeves, the Rust case has also hit another major bump in the road. Last week, Alec was hit with a firearm allegation that was not on the books at the time of the October 2021 incident. The actor is now facing a charge of involuntary manslaughter, as well as a firearm enhancement in connection with the death of the cinematographer. With the enhancement in place, each defendant faces up to 6.5 years in prison. If it were dropped, they would only face 18 months. But here's where this gets complicated. That particular enhancement did not actually become law until May of 2022, a full 7 months after Helena was killed. That raises a question about whether or not a judge would allow prosecutors to pursue that additional 5-year term. At the moment, that's something that they are scrambling to figure out. The first judicial district attorney and the appointed special prosecutor are now reviewing the issue. And the same goes for prop armorer Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, who had the exact same charges and enhancement filed against her. Her attorney Jason Bowles said that the enhancement would be in violation of her constitutional rights because it is barred by the Constitution and by ex post facto law. So why did they only find this out now? Well, a criminal attorney in New Mexico by the name of Caitlin Smith was the one who actually discovered the issue. She found this out while she was reviewing the case on her Serious Trouble podcast. She explained that the prosecutors probably shouldn't have charged the enhancement and said that the defense could file a pre-trial motion to have the enhancement thrown out. Last week, the case took another sharp turn when prosecutors made the shocking claim that Alec missed firearm training before filming Rust. Court documents claim that he failed to attend a session on handling these weapons before filming had officially started. After that, a private hour-long session was scheduled with the actor, but it ended up only being 30 minutes in length because he was distracted and talking on his cell phone to his family during the training. Hannah Gutierrez-Reed stated in her deposition that Alec had limited training in firearms and how to check his own firearm as to whether it was unloaded or loaded. She wrote, while he did attend a 30-minute training session on set, he appeared distracted. Prosecutors also argued that because Alec was one of the producers on the film and not just an actor, he actually allowed the hiring of Hannah, who turned out to be inexperienced and unqualified to be working with so many firearms. She failed to demand the minimum safety standards, protocols, and requirements on set. And here's the big one. Even though Alec insisted that he did not pull the trigger on the weapon, the FBI later tested the firearm and concluded that it would not have fired if someone hadn't pulled the trigger. This obviously calls everything he said into question, like his interview with ABC News in 2021, where he adamantly denied pulling the trigger. He also said, "I feel that someone is responsible for what happened, and I can't say who that is, but I know that it's not me." As of now, we know that both defendants are due to make their initial appearances in court on February the 24th, and the hearing will be conducted over Google Meet. Moving on, did you know that Meghan Markle is getting sued for defamation? It's now come out that the Sussexes will have to give separate testimony under oath as a part of a lawsuit brought against Meghan by Samantha Markle, her half-sister. She's seeking damages in excess of $75,000. The Duchess is being sued for defamation and injurious falsehood after the couple's 2021 interview with Oprah Winfrey, where Samantha claims that Meghan made demonstrably false and malicious statements against her to a worldwide audience, including the roughly 50 million people in 17 countries who watched the interview. The 58-year-old claims that the interview subjected her to humiliation, shame, and hatred on a worldwide scale, and that Meghan spread lies worldwide about her father, Thomas Markle. She alleges that the Duchess orchestrated a premeditated campaign to defame and destroy her sister and her father's reputation. Under the order, Meghan and Harry will be forced to answer questions regarding various public statements that they have made, including as to whether they think the members of the royal family are racist. The 41-year-old actress had attempted to stop the depositions, but her request to the judge was dismissed. The couple filed a motion to block them in the case, but the judge dismissed the motion on Tuesday, saying that Meghan does not satisfy the high standard required to stop the formal testimony. So what kind of malicious lies brought about this lawsuit? Well, during the Oprah interview, Meghan made various claims about their childhood. She said that she grew up as an only child, and that she and her older sister were virtually strangers, and they had no relationship whatsoever. Now, obviously these claims did not paint Samantha in the best light because she's 17 years older than Meghan, so most people would have thought that she was the one who abandoned her younger sister. For her part, Samantha claims that the two of them had frequent and regular contact with each other throughout Meghan's childhood. In fact, she claims that Meghan constructed a false rags to royalty narrative that was damaging to both herself and Thomas. She also denies the claim that she changed her last name to Markle after the news first broke out in 2018 that Meghan and Prince Harry were dating. Her attorney released a statement saying, "As to whether we will need Harry's deposition, that decision is yet to be made. Obviously, if the Duchess would want to call him, we would need to take his deposition. Otherwise, we will probably still want to inquire as to some issues." According to The Independent, there has also been a mediator appointed to the case, with the hope of resolving the lawsuit without the need to go to trial. The planned depositions come right after Meghan and Harry's Netflix series and the publication of Harry's memoir Spare. Both of these projects came with a fair amount of backlash, but many people thought that Meghan used the documentary as a way to hit back at her sister. In the series, she claimed that she hadn't seen Samantha for over a decade and had little to no relationship with her, but apparently she was suddenly everywhere when her relationship with Harry went public. She said, "I don't know your middle name, I don't know your birthday. You're telling these people you raised me and you coined me Princess Pushy. I hadn't had a fallout with her. We didn't have a closeness to be able to have that. And I wanted a sister." She was referring to the book that Samantha released in 2021 called The Diary of Princess Pushy's Sister Part 1, which is 330 pages long. She's also complained on Twitter about not being invited to their wedding. She wrote, "Out of respect and humanitarianism, the Markles should be invited if 2,000 complete strangers are. Our uncle, brother, me, best friend of 30 years, nephews. The issue is not a matter of closeness. Family is family." At the time, her mother Doria Raglan was the only family member of Meghan's to attend the ceremony, but there is a good reason for that. The Duchess has said that her father's side of her family is the one who keeps speaking out against her, not her mother's side. But in the third episode of the documentary series, the audience is introduced to someone called Ashley Hale, who is Meghan's niece and the daughter of Samantha. This is where we learn that she's become very close with her niece over the years, and said that she was heartbroken when she was told by the palace that she couldn't come to her 2018 wedding, because it would look bad if Ashley was invited but Samantha wasn't. Although since that revelation has been made public, several anonymous sources at the palace have come out and denied those claims. One of them spoke to the Sunday Times and said, "That just didn't happen. We never gave any advice, steer, or guidance on who of her family friends should or shouldn't come." They further explained that Meghan wanted to shield Ashley from the onslaught of media attention and said that it was her who decided not to invite her niece. Quote, "It was not a question she put to us. We would never tell her not to invite her own niece, and we would never get involved in any management of personal relationships." Another royal insider said, "Meghan didn't want the media to know about Ashley. No one on earth would have said don't invite family to the wedding. That's a complete and utter lie." But whatever the case, it's no secret that her relationship with some members of her family have always been difficult, and with this defamation case going on, it's probably going to get even worse. And now, did Twitter just cause their own demise? Last night, many of the platform's core features stopped working, which included tweeting, retweeting, following, and direct messages. When attempting any of these actions, users were presented with an error message informing them that they had reached their daily limit. The platform stayed online but in a read-only mode, so people got very confused about why Elon Musk is now placing limits to the number of direct messages and tweets that someone can send per day. Apparently, the daily tweet limit is now set at 2,400 characters, but this number is then broken into smaller limits for semi-hourly intervals. According to the help page, people hitting limits will be allowed to try again after a few hours, although no one knows exactly when that will be. Apparently, there is also now a maximum of 500 direct messages per day and a follow limit of 400 accounts per day. Twitter has also started capping the total number of accounts an individual user can follow, and they set this number at 5,000. But quite a few cracks started appearing before the mass outage. One of them was a bug which allowed users to post tweets with thousands of characters at a time. In response to all the chaos, Musk sent an email to Twitter staff implying that he was just experimenting with a new feature, which would hopefully maximize the stability of the system. But the outrage was widely predicted by IT professionals after Musk took over the site. It's well known that the acquisition left him in huge amounts of debt, which only got worse when advertisers fled the platform. He then fired a bunch of staff in order to cut costs, taking it down from 7,000 employees to just over 1,000. At the moment, it's been reported that there are only 500 engineers left on staff. The controversy surrounding his leadership reached an all-time high in mid-December when Musk suspended a group of tech journalists from the platform, with a sketchy explanation at best. He created a new policy on a whim and claimed that these accounts were now violating the company's rules about revealing people's location. He also claimed that these journalists had doxed him, but many people believe that his decision had a whole lot more to do with what they wrote about him, because it just wasn't very flattering. Well, that's all the news that we have for today. Please let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.